Yes, sir. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Millionaire Mansion Podcast. My name is James Hodggreen. I'm the owner of the Millionaire Mac Club, and as always, I'm so grateful y'all are joining us, man. I hope you guys are spectacular. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're living in a world full of abundance, because that's what I'm praying upon your soul, upon your life. And if you aren't, I need you to realize it's a choice. You're not defined by your circumstances. And I say this a lot, and I'm going to continue to say it because I stand by it. Remaining positive, living abundantly, being successful, all of that is perspective. And if you want to shift your perspective, you don't have to fully come to terms. So, wait. Let me rewind. Those words don't only have one definition or one solid meaning. Or if they do have one definition or one solid meaning, they don't have one expression. So just because your definition of success right now, or your definition of abundance or wealth or happiness right now is one thing, doesn't mean it can't change. It's not locked in for life. And that's the thing that oftentimes we get caught in. Like, we'll get caught in being so defensive and so tied to one stance that we'll block ourselves from blessings because we think it has to be this way. We think love has to be seen this way. We think wealth has to be this. And what that comes from is like comparing or walking somebody else's walk. So basically getting those definitions and experiences from somebody else and not fully experiencing them for yourself. So make sure that you stand by your own definitions, your own experiences, and find truth. Just be on the constant search for truth for yourself, not based off other people's knowledge. You see what I'm saying? But that's actually a perfect way to lead into what I want to talk about today. And today I want to talk about being wrong. And the reason I want to talk about it is because, like, these past 2 days, these past 2 days, I've caught myself in, like, situations, not necessarily, like, arguments, but, well, I guess an argument just because two parties were trying to... Sorry for that interruption. The people just came to fix our hot water. Our hot water went out yesterday, but we back, baby. But basically, I wanted to talk about being wrong just because I've caught myself in two situations in the past 24 hours where two parties presented what they thought was right in the situation, and you know how it goes. Like, oftentimes we'll stand in what we originally think is right. And not to say either the outcome of either of those situations, whether I was right or wrong. I just want to talk about the experience, because that's what it's all about. You see what I'm saying? So basically, what I've learned and what I've been learning through my self-improvement progression is just remaining level-headed and not having your mood and intention and tone ramped up by the other party, but just remaining on a level that is controlled by you, not controlled by anyone else. And honestly, that was something that I could have done better in both situations, and that's why I want to share it with y'all, because oftentimes we think since somebody is trying to present their stance, they're trying to degrade us or prove us wrong, which isn't necessarily what they're trying to do all the time. Maybe that may be their intention, but that is assuming one of the worst possibilities. Therefore, that's not something we can control. All we can control is our pace through the conversation. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, if I could go back and relive those situations, I would just be extra mindful of saying what I mean, taking my time, saying what I want to say, and honestly being a better receptor. Because oftentimes I think I'm doing pretty good on recepting, but maybe I will recept it and process it, but how I present my case back will still seem defensive. You see what I'm saying? So you could have the right intention. You could not even try to be defensive, but just because of your natural tone or reaction or unconscious reaction, it could be presented in a way that you may not have wanted it to be presented as. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, the question is like, well, what's right or wrong? Who's right or wrong? And honestly, that's an unanswerable question, because everything is really perspective. Because what you could say is right could go along with what society says is right, but ultimately I may not agree. And am I wrong for disagreeing? Because who really makes the hierarchy? Who really makes the hierarchy? And even if there is a hierarchy, just because there's more agreeing with one side doesn't make that side right necessarily. You see what I'm saying? So with that, we need to understand that there is not always a right or wrong, and oftentimes there isn't a right or wrong, because oftentimes there's truths in both sides. Like that it's like the commonality of the yin and yang. Like there's light within dark and there's darkness within light, and that goes with arguments too. Like if we're more receptive to what the other party has to say and the other party is receptive to what we have to say, then we'll find a common ground and find out that neither of us were fully right. But both of us were right, but maybe not completely. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind and really be intentional on being a good receptor and not attaching to your stance, because oftentimes we'll think if we're proved wrong, then we're less than. As a person, we're less than if our stance is proved wrong. But we aren't our argument. We aren't what we're arguing for. We may stand by what we're arguing for, but we do not identify by what we're arguing. You see what I'm saying? To the root, we aren't what we're arguing. So therefore, we can't take these arguments personal, because if you do, you'll leave the conversation you'll just leave the conversation with a sense of unfulfillment. Even if you're considered right, you're gonna have a sense of unfulfillment just because you're missing the full truth. And that's what the inner us wants. It just wants to be exposed to the truth. So even if we're right or we end the conversation on top, it's going to be a little sense of unfulfillment if we weren't open-minded to all truths, no matter who the messenger was. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is, well, I already kind of touched on it, but finding a common ground. Go into it. You can't control the other party. So if you go into it with a mindset of, okay, let me listen to what truths they have, and I don't have to fully agree with everything they're saying, but let me at least respect it. And that's something that's lost oftentimes. And honestly, in the two situations that I was in, I had the intention, and then throughout the convo, I lost it. I lost the intention of having respect for what the other person has to say. You see what I'm saying? And that goes back along with identifying with our stance, because obviously you want to protect your being, but if you see your opinion as you, then you're going to do whatever it takes to not be proved wrong. But honestly, being proved wrong oftentimes could be what we need, because what we need is the truth. So if we're shying away from the truth because the truth isn't coming from us, then that's us being ignorant. You see what I'm saying? So, what to do when we're wrong? What do we do when we're wrong? When our egos hit a little bit? You win some and lose some, and it's not even a loss. Don't look at it as a loss. Look at it as a lesson. Look at it as, okay, I gained more perspective. Now you added more perspective to your bag. Now you added another view to your arsenal, and that just makes you all the more versatile. Like, you're way more versatile now because you have more perspective in your bag, and that's all life really is. Like, life is just remaining it's just perspective. It's all perspective and influencing others and trying to get others to see our perspective. You see what I'm saying? So, with that being said, accept it. Accept that you're quote unquote wrong. Be okay with it. That just means now you know what's right. That just means you're a little bit less ignorant. But if you want to remain ignorant, that's one thing. That's your choice. But if you don't want to remain ignorant, just accept it. Detach from your stance from a personal standpoint, because you aren't what you believe in. So once you detach from that and just take the lesson, then it's a win-win either way. So I just wanted to hop on and share that with y'all, because I was in a situation like that back to back, and it was just really eye-opening. And for a little bit, I won't lie to you, like, I didn't have this stance like right after the heat of the moments. Like, I was still in a stance of like, no, I'm right. But then once I meditated on it, I'm like, none of this really matters. Like, why does that even matter? What am I getting worked up for? Why am I letting it ruin the rest of my present moments and bringing bitterness to the rest of my present moments when it ultimately doesn't matter? When ultimately I still have this, it doesn't matter. You see what I'm saying? So keep that in mind. Detach from those opinions. You aren't your opinions. So, with all that being said, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If any of this resonated with you, all I ask is that y'all share it. Share it with somebody. Just tell somebody. Word of mouth is the best way to grow a community, and I want us to keep growing. The more I grow, the more y'all grow. The more y'all grow, the more I grow. You feel me? Because we're all one. So let's keep going. Let's keep growing. And if you need a positive friend, text me at 480-571-7347. The number is going to be in the description. I love and appreciate every single one of y'all. Hey, your reality and everything you want to be is right there within you. Keep that in mind. Stop looking exterior. Stop looking exterior for acceptance, for the resources that you need. You have everything that you need right there within you. You just have to pull it out of you. You got this. But like my grandma said, man, keep going, keep growing. I love y'all. Peace.